Okay, welcome to the movie pits on YouTube. You'll notice that there's no introduction anymore. That's just for time and everything. Sorry, I know a lot of people liked, for some reason, the stupid little intro I used to have on this. But from now on, I'll have my little warning ahead of time about language, spoilers, and then in the info box, I'll have links to the IMDb page as well as page to the trailer for so you can take a look at that. Let's just get right into this since it's my first one back in a while. Today I'm going to be talking about a Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Uh, Normally I start off by telling you the plot of these movies, but in all honesty, if you don't know the plot of a Nightmare on Elm Street, you probably really shouldn't be watching this video in the first place. So that said, let me just get right into my review. I was really, really impressed with this film. After the barrage of shitty fucking remakes that have come out over the years, when I heard they were remaking one of my favorite franchises, I was really, really hesitant. And the fact that they weren't bringing Robert Englund back, I understand, because they want to bring new elements in to the franchise, because obviously Robert Englund can't do the part of Freddy forever. But like I said, I had my hesitations, and having seen it in the theater, all my worries were mostly false. Movie was really well done, all around. It's got a great young cast that do a really phenomenal job portraying their characters in this film. Uh, Unlike, let's say, Sorority Row, where I hated the fucking acting in those films, among a bunch of other ones, Stepfather. Uh, but the characters in this one I really liked and I really identified with, sort of. Uh, Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy Krueger, who was also in Watchmen as Rorschach. He was my biggest concern going into this film, because I really didn't know what he was going to bring to the table, because he has huge shoes to fill, or a claw to fill, depends on how you look at it, because Robert Englund has been doing it for so long, and Jackie Earle Haley took the character and made it his own. You can see hints of Robert Englund in his performance, like from the way Freddy's his stance to the way he walks, and even to the way he enunciates words, which I thought was kind of cool that he did that little nod to Robert. But other than that, he created his own character. My biggest, I guess, my biggest complaint with the Freddy character itself is I didn't really 100% care for the choice in the makeup, the way the makeup looks. But that's only a very minute point, because if you go back and look at the original franchise, every fucking Nightmare film had different fucking Freddy makeup. So I really can't complain about the makeup, because who knows if they had gotten Robert Englund to do it in the remake, the makeup still might have fucking looked like this. There, along with the similarities between this and the original, there are a lot of nods to the original, be it lines of dialogue or a flat out reproduction of scenes, more straight to the point, the iconic bathtub sequence. And that blows my fucking mind when I read reviews of people saying that. I can't believe they redid the bathtub sequence. They have no originality. Besides the bathtub sequence, Tina's death, and Freddy coming out of the wall, which I'll get to in a minute, those are the only three scenes that were duped. And I think it's a nice nod to the original, because those were such iconic scenes in the original fucking movie. I don't see why they wouldn't have. People don't have a fucking problem when Halloween came out and they had the fucking stab to the wall, because that's an iconic scene. You need that scene in the fucking movie. But this movie, it's bad. Now back to the wall. Yes, it is a very iconic sequence in the original film, but, and I think it should have been recreated the way they had originally done it, because it's my first complaint with the movie. It's completely fucking CG. If you've seen the trailer, you fucking seen the scene, and it looks fucking god awful. Not to mention, which we'll go more into detail in a minute here, the scoring over that fucking scene is loud as hell, and it's almost hard to watch. One, because visually it looks fucking retarded. Two, it's just hard to hear, so you're covering your fucking ears because it's so goddamn loud. I think along with the movie itself, they created their own sort of mythology around Freddy Krueger, and it works. It's a little different from what we've grown to love in the franchise, but I kind of expected. Now, if they'd went completely left field with the storyline, like a fucking prom night, I would have been pissed if they had a prom night type movie with a Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, I'm not saying fucking prom night, Nightmare on Elm Street, but you get my point about the complete different stories from original to remake. But the mythology that they created in this and elaborated on really, really fucking works. Now, with the sound, that is my biggest pet peeve, even over CG. Because there wasn't a hell of a lot of CG in this film, minus a few, like the wall. Some of Freddy's face in some sequences were CG'd. But the mixing on this film, fucking horrendous. For instance, very first time you really see Freddy in the original, the iconic long arms, claw scraping on the wall, and you have the fucking sparks coming out the fingers. One scene you have sparks. In this movie, whatever Freddy fucking touches has sparks. And the worst part about that is when it sparks, the sound is no longer like that high-pitched nails on a chalkboard. It's a loud, booming explosion every fucking time. That is my only complaint, is they're mixing on the claw and everything and some other jump scares, but mainly the claw. It's so fucking loud. And unless you're in a theater that's got like a terrible fucking sound system, it'll blow your goddamn eardrums. Because the first time I saw it was at a screening, and the mix was really fucking loud. Granted, when I saw it in the theater once it came out, it was still fucking loud as hell, but not as loud as the first time I saw it. But like I said, that's my only complaint with the film. Have no complaining or complaints about the fucking acting, the storyline. I actually really fucking enjoyed it, and that shocks the hell out of me, for one. But bottom line, if you're a fan of the original film or the franchise in any way, you might be upset with this film, but you really have to take and make your own choices. Like it, don't like it, but you have to at some point respect that they made a decent horror film. And if you look at the remakes that come out, again, I'm going back to Halloween, I respect the Halloween remake, but at least this film will hold true in future years. At least it's not a Halloween 2 where they completely fuck with the mythology of the story and just completely ass rape the hell out of fucking Freddy Krueger and ruin it for movies to come unless they can fix it. And I'm happy that they did this movie the way that they did. I have to give this movie, even though a lot of people I've talked to don't agree with me, and that's fine, I give it a 4 out of 5. It's not perfect, but it doesn't suck. It's a good way to spend your money. If you can still find it in theaters, which are few and far between now, go do it. Spend the $7 to fucking $10. It's a good hour and a half movie. And so that's going to end this. Again, check the IMDb links and the link to the trailer. And like I said, there's going to be no more introductions, just so I can do these a little bit quicker, just a few edits here and there. But hopefully every Friday I will have a new video up. There's going to be no more separations, no more weekend movie review, no more Grindhouse Redux. whatever I want to talk about on that Friday is just going to be on here, old school. And so next week, Friday, check out, I'm going to be reviewing The Human Centipede. Thank you for tuning back in. Hopefully to see you again in the future.